In this lecture, we are going to talk about comma operator in C. This table is taken from the lecture Motivation and Introduction to Operators in C. This particular operator called conditional operator, we already completed this operator in the previous lecture. Apart from that, these are the two operators called ampersand and star that we will study in the lecture when we talk about pointers. Apart from that, we already had a lot of discussion related to size of operator. And in this lecture, we will cover the comma operator. Now let's try to understand what a comma operator is. First of all, we know this already that comma operator can be used as a separator. Like for example, int a equals to 3, b equals to 4, c equals to 8 is nothing but multiple definitions in a single line, right? Instead of writing this, we can also write int a equals to 3, int b equals to 4, int c equals to 8. But isn't that cumbersome? Therefore, when we have three variables of same type, we prefer this instead of this. Okay? Apart from that, comma operator can be used as an operator. Now let's try to understand this point as well. In this example, I declared a variable and assigned it an expression 3, 4, 8 with brackets and a semicolon. And we're trying to print the result of A. What would be the result? Comma operator returns the rightmost operand in the expression. Here in this expression, rightmost operand is 8. Isn't that so? And it simply evaluates the rest of the operands and finally reject them. It simply evaluates the rest of the operands and finally reject them. Here, this value is going to get returned to this particular variable A. Therefore, the output of this particular program is 8. Okay? Now let's consider the definition of comma operator once again. Why I am reconsidering this definition, you will see in a moment. First of all, I want you to focus on this line. It simply evaluates the rest of the operands. Now let's consider one example. Here I declared a variable and assigned it an expression with a comma operator and two operands. One is printf and the other one is a value. You might think that comma operators simply reject this statement and 5 will be returned to this variable. You are right. 5 will be returned to this variable, but it will not simply reject this statement. First, it will evaluate this statement and then reject it. This is what we need to know. And this value will be returned to the variable after evaluating this operand. Therefore, the final output is hello and 5. As this function will be evaluated first, therefore hello will be printed first, and then after that, this particular value will be returned to this variable. And finally, we will print this particular variable. Okay? Now let's consider the third important point related to comma operator. Comma operator is having least precedence among all the operators available in C language. This is very important point. It is having the least possible precedence among all the operators that are available in C language. Let's consider one example to better understand this concept. Here in this example, I declared a variable A, and to this variable I assigned an expression 3, 4, 8. And I simply try to print this particular variable. You might think the output is 8 as because comma operator will return this value, which is the rightmost value, to this particular variable A. But you are wrong. As comma operator is having the least precedence, and we can see that there is one more operator called assignment operator. As assignment operator is having higher precedence than comma operator, therefore it will be evaluated first. This particular statement is equivalent to this statement over here. Here I have mentioned brackets just to make this point clear that assignment operator is having greater precedence than comma operator. Therefore, value 3 is assigned to this variable a and simply a will be printed, right? After that, comma operator will get evaluated, but as we know, this 8 value has to be returned to some variable, but there is no variable over here. So it will not do anything. Therefore, the final output is 3, not 8. Please be careful when dealing with questions like this. Okay, let's consider one more example. Here in this example, instead of writing a equals to 3, 4, 8 in a separate line, I'm writing this at the time of declaration itself. Now what is the difference? First of all, here comma is behaving like a separator. Here comma operator is acting like a separator. Why? Because comma operator acts like a separator when used within function calls, function definitions, variable declarations, and enum declarations. Now let's consider this particular statement separately in order to understand this in a better way. This is equivalent to int a equals to 3, int 4, int 8. Isn't that so? As we are already familiar with this point that we cannot start a variable name with a digit like 4 or 8. Therefore, this will produce an error. So, the final output of this particular program is an error. Because of these 4 and 8 values, error will get produced. Because here comma is acting like a separator, compiler treat these digits as separate variables. Because we cannot start a name with a digit, therefore it will produce an error message. Okay, now let's consider one more example related to comma operator. Here in this example, instead of writing a equals to 3, 4, 8, we have also provided brackets over here. Because of putting brackets over here, comma operator will be evaluated first and not the assignment operator. Brackets has the highest precedence than any other operator, therefore this will get evaluated first and then after assignment operator will be evaluated. We can also write this program in this way as well and there is no problem. It will not produce an error because comma operator here will be treated as an operator and not a separator because of the brackets. Therefore, the final output of this particular program is A. Now let's consider one homework problem. What is the output of the following C program fragment? Is it A, 15? Is it B, 50? Is it C, no output? Or is it D, error? Okay friends, this is it for now. Thank you for watching this lecture.